Begins with a story on the notorious RBG. So, as pretty much everyone in the country is aware, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, died last week on Friday, September 18th. She was the second woman that was put on the Supreme Court and the first person of Jewish heritage. And she spent her time there fighting tooth and nail for reproductive rights, equal rights in the workplace, and equal rights at home. She became known as the notorious RBG for her connection with Biggie Smalls' hometown, Brooklyn, and also for her many dissenting opinions that the young political scientists who were on social media at the time, they compared it to like rap verses.
Yeah, they definitely like boosted her cred and made her into what people call like a political rock star. Because, I mean, she had done so much, but it's hard to make these court cases a little more attractive, but people definitely kind of boosted her message, which is awesome.
Yeah, and she like became known as like, the dissenter, and she was always writing those dissenting opinions on those court decisions that were so important, especially in that time period. She became a living hero to many people,
Definitely.
and even to those of the Americans that didn't agree with her. She was an icon to every single one of us. We all know who Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. We all know what she did. Pretty much unanimously across the aisle, there is respect for her.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so significant that she's the first woman to ever lie in state.
Yes.
Like, officially. Like, it shows how far we've come as a country, like, that she's only the first. But we have made progress. So, it's an important time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's more than just this political mess that Trump and the Republicans want to turn it into.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. As much as, I wish that I could just have this segment be a remembrance. Yeah, just a remembrance of her and how great she was. Unfortunately, the Republicans have taken this tragic situation of her death, and turned it into a political moment. Already, we see Republicans mobilizing to replace her seat with a young conservative judge. Mitch McConnell only waited a couple of hours on the day of her death.
Wasn't even a couple of hours. It was like an hour and a half, bro.
Yeah, it was like no time at all to say that he wanted to replace her before the election. Nasty. And this is, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because every news source out there is spending a lot of time on this. This is a direct contrast to him waiting a full year to fill the Scalia vacancy during an election year. This was in 2016. So he waited all the way till 2017 when we had Trump to fill that seat, but it's now, only a short time before the election, and is trying to jam this down.
And Lindsey Graham saying, "You should use my words against me if I ever do this." Like they don't care how they sound.
No, it's all for the the political whatever is good for them in the moment. Advantageous to them in the moment. They will do. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter what they have said. It doesn't matter what rules they applied for themselves. They will do whatever they can in whatever moment to get the advantage in
and they have
turning this country towards conservatism.
They have the opening, so they're going to take it because they're monsters.
And of course, this is against Ruth Bader Ginsburg's last wishes, which were not to be replaced by this president, which I understand.
Or in an election year, norms.
It's a lot, and it adds to an already extremely tense situation around the 2020 election. Trump is using this moment to shift the campaign away from some of the stuff that we talked about in the last couple of weeks, which, was the failures of the COVID response in America. Also the tense racial situation that has just been reignited. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But he believes that another Supreme Court nomination from him would secure victory for him. I think it's a true thing that he thinks. Conservatives have always been big on judge appointments. They care way more than Democrats do, than leftists do in regards to that, in polling and such. So he is pretty confident that he could win the, slightly conservative moderates by getting another conservative judge on the bench. He plans on putting a woman on the bench that he has said, and there is a short list. So we should see that forthwith. We'll probably see it by the next show.